Welcome to this podcast of Sound Off from August 14th, 2020 with your host, Nate Laux. Nate's guest today is County Councilman Mike Rosenbaum. Now here's your host, Nate Laux.
My guest today is LaPorte County Councilperson since 2018. He's also a CPA and City of LaPorte resident. It's an honor to have with me Mr. Michael Rosenbaum. Hello, Councilperson. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me, Nate. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
It's been a little while for us personally. I missed the dinner discussions over dinner.
We will continue them hopefully sooner than later.
That'll be excellent. But in the meantime, we have this opportunity.
That's right. That's right. Now, if you have a question for County Councilperson Rosenbaum, you can call us at the Liquor Vault on-air line at 209-362-0522. You can also text that number. So if you don't want to have your voice on air or whatever, but you have a question for Mr. Rosenbaum, you can call him or text us at 209-362-0522 as well. It'll come right into me. You can also email us, soundoff at 967theeagle.com. Real quick, because I just assume that not everyone knows what a county councilperson does. 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Tell us what a county council person does.
Well, we basically are overseeing the entire budget, the expenditures. We just went through the start of the budget process at the end of last month. On a monthly basis, we're reviewing special requests, and we're going to talk. Hopefully, we'll talk a little bit about the bonding that just happened and coming up with how that was being financed and what actually got us to here by creating a. First of all, we have no debt until this, and by being able to be debt-free, and then also by creating an emergency fund that had in excess of $8 million.
Wow.
So that gave us the leeway into what happened with us on the bonding.
Wonderful. And let's get to our first call, and maybe somebody's going to call in, and we could talk about the courthouse. We can talk about some other things, but let's get to our first caller today. Hello, you're on Sound Off. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have a question. Does the council have control over the zoning board? Because we're having a lot of problems with the zoning board. They don't want to abide by what they say they're going to do at the meetings. And I called the courthouse and nobody wants to tell me if there's anybody. And I thought maybe a councilman can do that.
Well, I wish I could say I had a lot of control over a lot of things, but I don't. What I can tell you is that the commissioners have a lot more control over what goes on in the county when it comes to the various departments and the various boards. We also have an attorney as well that can also help and assist. So, for me, I would start in that angle. If you're not getting anywhere with the board, then the only place to go right up above is to go to the commissioners. And you can actually call their office and speak with their secretary, Diane Gonzalez, and then go from there. She'll help you, direct you to the best place possible.
All right. Thanks so much for calling. Let's talk a little bit about the courthouse and the bonding. I saw recently in an article that the county got rated an A+ by S&P. Can you kind of explain a little bit about what that means and the state of the financial health for LaPorte County in general?
Yeah, and I've only been in, I'm being honest, I've been in the county for 7 years now, 9. And there were issues with the financing going on because of the real estate bills and everything, and it started to all get worked out. And what was happening is when we finally started getting all the money and getting everything up to snuff, the county went on the process of getting financial stability. And so what happened was, I mentioned before that we had over $8 million in emergency fund. Not many counties can say that. We have no debt on anything other than that. I mean, I wouldn't even say we have credit card debt because, everything's paid like an old American Express card. You put it down and you pay it. I'll wait for those royalties from American Express. I don't think I'll see them. But anyway.
Real quick. So you're saying a lot of counties do carry debt with them?
Yeah, a lot of counties. There's always projects going on, even to buy vehicles, to buy buildings. That they haven't been as fortunate. One of the things that has helped us be this fortunate we have to admit that the casino has certainly helped us do a lot of some of that spending that other people have to borrow on. So anyway, we got ourselves in a very good financial position. It was good timing to go out and do bonding, getting that rate recognized is the fiscal responsibility of the council that's been going on for years, and all the hard work done by the auditor. And the auditor for the past 8 years has been Joey Winsky. We should definitely do a shout out for her in recognizing of the lot of hard work that she had done in the background to get us to where we are.
So the courthouse is, if I'm reading right, is it a $19.5 million bond?
Yes, the bond was put out for $19.5 million, and we had the most unusual event happen. Someone paid a premium, which means that they paid more than $19.5 million. Somebody actually paid over $20 million, $20.7 million to take our bonds and to get paid a very low 1.51% rate. There are some money markets paying better than that. Mm-hmm. But for a long-term bond, to know that you're going to get paid back, I mean, that goes to the A+ rating.
How long is the bond?
The bond is scheduled for 20 years. However, it's the council's hope and wishes that after 10 years, we can pay it off. There's an opportunity to pay it off after 10 years. And it would be nice because we have other big projects looming. And at that time, in 10 years from now, I couldn't tell you what it will be, but we have things such as the LaPorte Courthouse needs some work done, and then there's going to start being talk in another few years about what are we going to do with the jail, because jail lives, it's the life of a jail is so many years, and we're beyond that. And while everything's working now, it's just another thought.
Sure. Well, today on Sound Off, I've got, we're really honored to have with us County Councilperson Michael Rosenbaum with us. If you have a question for Councilperson Rosenbaum, you can call us at 219-362-0522, or you can text us at 219-362-0522. You're welcome to email us as well at soundoff@967 The Eagle, and we're glad to have you with us today. I want to talk a little bit more. We've had some guests here in the last month, some city guests, things like that, talking a little bit about the financial health of LaPorte and municipalities as a whole. What has coronavirus done for the county's financial health?
Well, the first thing we did was we had designated and put money aside out of the emergency fund. Because we had that, we have spent, I can tell you honestly, over $500,000 already on it. And the spending doesn't stop. And what have we spent it on? Yes, we needed to get masks. We needed to get the supplies to wash and clean. But one of the permanent and long-term things that we had done was many of the offices that actually face the public or deal with the public on a regular basis, we actually installed windows or glass structures with, like, I don't know if you remember the old bank buildings. You used to go in, you have to slide your deposit slip and your cash under the window or through that little hole. Well, that's not exactly what we have now, but thinking of that type of where there's that barrier now to do that. We are going around and we've put in other security measures as far as not allowing access into certain areas. So that also prevents people from just walking around and doing that.
So are tax revenues going down for the county because of coronavirus? Or are you not seeing significant loss for that?
Well, there's always the thought that we are supposed to be reimbursed through the federal government to the state. Now, the state has received a tremendous amount of funds. The exact amount I couldn't tell you, but I know they are north of $100 million. The state also has been flush because they also at one point were going to use the excess from last year's taxes to pay down some bonds, and then that got placed on hold when COVID came. So what we're concerned with is that right now the state is paying for the testing of COVID-19. So if your insurance doesn't pay for it, the state picks up the tab. The state has just extended it now through September 30th. There was talk that they were going to cut it off at the end of this month. That is huge for the county because we do not know what that cost will be.
So the testing site then in LaPorte will continue until the end of September then?
For now, that is the plan, and that was just found out like a day or two ago.
All right, so breaking news on Sound Off, everyone.
So, well, it's all good.
Let me have this, Councilperson Rosenbaum. I'm sure it's not breaking, but let me have it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's been a lot of it. There is one more thing that we've been doing, and that has been the testing of people's temperatures going into the buildings. And there's some difference of opinion whether or not that's an effective use of money. because it is costing us close to $10,000 or over $10,000 a week.
Okay.
And the numbers show that we are, yes, we are stopping people, but we're stopping 1 to 3 people a week. We're stopping a couple people who refuse to wear masks, who could be stopped by the security inside the buildings. And then people showing any signs. But at the same token, we have 40% of the people who don't show signs are carrying the virus that are out there. And that number has been said by national, all over the place. And even our own Dr. Cora has shared similar information. So it's just a matter of really at what point are we really, do we really need this anymore? But when we started, let me say this, when we started and we reopened the buildings, we were trying to protect our employees 100%. So we were all supportive of doing whatever we thought was necessary. But now we've got to start looking at what is fiscally, what really works.
Sure. We got a text coming in. Thank you so much for texting in to the Liquor Vault on Air line at 219-362-0522. Here's a question for you. When does the county plan on replacing county highway snowplow truck and equipment getting very dated?
Well, I know that they went out this past year, at the beginning of the year, that they went out and they did buy some newer equipment, not brand new equipment, but newer equipment, newer trucks, some pretty good quality trucks that came off of another. I can tell you that personally, I've asked the highway department to actually work on a capital plan so that this way we know, it's just like other departments do it. The best at doing it has got to be our sheriff's department. They have a vehicle replacement plan every year, so many vehicles, because of the mileage. But you see, trucks last for a lot longer. So then I would say a police car. So, just in that nature. So, I know that they've been asked for it. I know that their direct liaison, who's Mark Yagelski, has talked to them about it. And, if it works, we're frugal people. So if it works, why bother changing? But in the meantime, that's kind of what the plan is going on.
Wonderful. We've got another call. We're going to take a caller again. Again, we've got Councilperson Mike Rosenbaum with us. If you have a call or a text, do contact us through the Liquor Vault on Airline at 219-362-0522. Hello, caller. You're on Sound Off. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Hey, I got two questions. The first one is, do you really think it's a wise idea to move the health department into the courthouse with all the stuff that's going on now? People go to the health department to get shots. They're sick. There's other stuff going on. I don't think that's too much of a wise decision to really move the health department in where, they had a separate door before. Now they're going to have to go in front of the security to get in there and everything else. That and parking is at a minimum. There's not much parking there now, and you guys are going to take away pretty much the rest of the parking lot. How are you going to accomplish parking without buying more land somewhere else? And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks for listening, bud. All right, let's go with the health department question first.
Well, I'm going to have to assume he's talking Michigan City. So the thing about it is, where is the location of the health department? Is it easy access? I don't know. You got to remember these were designs that were done a few years back. So I understand the concern. And I don't remember the blueprint in my head, and I'm really struggling right now to think about it, where it's located it's one thing if it's located on the first floor just to the side, but I really can't say that, and I don't remember. So, but the thing about having it in the building is that we were really trying to work our way to get out of having all these different buildings. So we're really trying to centralize. So when you try to centralize, that's an interesting question about having separate doors, but then if you're allowed into the building, you really need to all go through security. So I don't know how to separate that. The key thing is that when you do get to the health department, that they do have the privacy area for where they're going to do shots and whatnot. So I can't answer directly, not only because I don't remember the exact location, but I'm not sure if it's feasible. Sure. With the current plan.
What about the parking question?
Well, the parking is, we are basically, my understanding is that we're losing about 12 parking spots. Now,
what areas the caller specifically?
Okay, the behind, if you think of the courthouse right now, it's an L-shaped building. Mm-hmm. It will continue to be an L-shaped building, but what's happening is where certain vehicles had to park in the general area behind the building. What's happened is because the extension that's coming off the side is just a little bit larger, is actually going to have private parking underneath, secured parking for two things. One is it'll be for the judges themselves and some other key officials, and it's also going to be the place where any inmates or accused or I'm trying to think of the best word for it, are going to be able to come in away from the public.
Sure.
So by having those secure sites for them as well, some of the parking moves in there, so they will lose some of the parking outside. There's no good answer.
Okay. All right. Let's take one more caller before break. Hello, you're on Sound Off. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, I have a question. A few years back, I believe the county chose not to give scanner service to the city of LaPorte. And a perfect example of last Sunday when we had the tornado warnings and stuff, there was no notice from LaPorte except TV. How, besides the siren, and what if some of the elderly people don't, or people just plain don't hear that siren? They have no way of knowing, where before when we had the scanners, you could at least keep up on what was going on and what you had to do to be safe. I think that definitely they need to figure out a way to bring that service back to LaPorte.
Wonderful. I'll let Councilperson Rosenbaum answer this real quick, but I do want to say in 2 weeks, the City of LaPorte Mayor Tom Dermody will be back, and we can ask him that as well. So,
okay, because the radio station wasn't even broadcasting, which I know it was a Sunday night, but still there was nothing. I saw a lot of people, and I'm not always a Facebook person, but saying, what's happening, or where's the radio, people were kind of at a loss, and I think we need to bring back the scanner service.
All right, well, thanks so much for calling.
Okay.
Do you have a comment for that?
Well, I'm actually going to go back to Larry Butcher, our EMA director, because that's exactly where the situation lies. I was not aware.
Is emergency medical.
He's
right?
Emergency management, and so he oversees everything in the county when there's emergency. So this is really his bailiwick, his area, and so I would have to go to him to find out more information. I do know that because I'm involved with the City of LaPorte baseball, I get text messages from iStrike, which they have actually weather stations in all the parks. So if I know that there's lightning coming, I get notified by a text that there's lightning coming in closer to our ball field. So this way I can make sure everybody gets safe as quickly as possible. But as far as the scanning situation, I'm going to have to find out more.
If you want to let me know, I can, on Monday's program, update everyone from what you found out, okay?
I will certainly try to have an answer for you for Monday.
Well, we're going to take a break. We've got County Councilperson Mike Rosenbaum with us. If you have a question or a comment, please do call or text the Liquor Vault on air line at 219-362-0522 or email us at soundoff@967 The Eagle. We'll be right back. Hello, friends. Welcome back. We have with us today, we're honored to have County Councilperson Mike Rosenbaum with us, and we're going to get back to the callers. We just have a couple minutes left, rather. But I do want to say I got a text just in right now that says there is a service that the public can sign up for on the county website at laporteco.in.gov. For text messages and alerts for weather and other things such as road repairs. Thanks so much for texting that in. We appreciate that. All right, let's get back to the callers. Hello, you're on Sound Off. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hey, first thing, Mike, I want to thank you for you asking a lot of questions. You got to, letting the common stuff in that there, get it to layman's terms and that there, and you do a good job at that, sir. But also, I want to, you said about, go back to the courthouse here in LaPorte.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I heard on the news last week or so there with Mr. Novak says that, then they'll be able to come to do the LaPorte. Now, that's going to be over 8 years down the way, and how much deterioration you're going to let to do to the outside of that building in 8 years, with our winters and them cracks and the freezing and that there of them joints. They spent a lot of money inside, but I guess that was only for the air conditioning and electrical, if I'm not mistaken.
So
they spent that $8 million.
Yeah. So
before you got there, buddy.
Yeah, but still, he's there now. So we'll let Councilperson Rosenbaum answer that. Thank you.
Thanks.
So real quick, tell us then. Does that mean there will be no more projects for that next 8 years, or will you start other projects like the other courthouses and stuff like that before you pay off the other one?
No, we can't say there's no projects, because I can tell you right away, immediately, we have I'll get to the answer to this, but I want to mention that and at the intersection of 2 and 20, there is going to be another EMS building that is going up. It's a long time coming. It kind of slipped away from some people this year. It never slipped away from me. I've been arguing for it, and we're trying to make sure that the financing is in place, and that cost is under $500,000. But what's going to be possibly added to it that could help us is there possibly could be an EMA office there, so there could be some federal funding to be added to it, and there could also be we have a facility somewhere near a lake, and I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I keep wanting to say Hudson Lake, where we have salt and other things that we keep, supplies that we keep, and equipment that we keep. So we want to possibly put a lot of that there. So those are building steps. So they're not these big $8 million projects. So I don't think you're going to start seeing $8 million projects or $5 million projects, but you are going to see the $1.5 to $2 million projects that are going to have to happen to keep things going along. We're just fortunate enough that, that next year will be a slim year for us. We're expecting that it's going to be a slim year.
Because of revenue
issues? Because of well, first of all, we've had the casino closed down. Mm-hmm. So with that closed down, there's no money to be made, and therefore there's not going to be any revenues that sharing with us there. The other thing is that there's a big concern that income tax is going to be down because people aren't working. Well, I kind of beg to differ, because I know I'm working. I haven't stopped, and our employees haven't stopped working, so or being paid to work. So the thing is that we're also working on bringing another a very big manufacturer into the area, and we're going to start seeing possibly some tax incentives at our next meeting that we're going to talk about.
Wonderful. We've got another text here. With the millions of dollars being spent to renovate the courthouse, wouldn't it be better spent if the money was on a brand new structure?
Wow. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I came on, this was already in motion, and I'm asking the same question. Unfortunately, the brand new structure costs more. Mm-hmm. And it totally blew me away by that. Because that was one of the first questions I asked. The other question I asked, and which I still haven't, what I'd like to see done, is that it be more of a LEED building, that we actually have, whether it be solar panels or something to help. You're going to have all these supposedly flat roofs. Why not use it? And why not keep our why not keep our electric bills down or create our own electricity? The good thing about doing the new or redoing it completely is that we're going to have all new electrical. We're going to have all new electrical saving devices in it. So just by doing this, we're going to have tremendous saving. But new we can't do. It's just like $100 million versus the 23.
Sure. Hello, you're on Sound Off with Councilperson Rosenbaum.
Yeah, I'm calling in regards to the cost of this courthouse project here. You're saying it's $19 million, basically?
No, we only went out to bond for $19.5 million. The project, as it's been announced, is at least $23 million. $23 million.
So the county comes up with more money then, or the bond company paying over that amount of money then?
Well, the county has already put aside that we're going to use some of the emergency fund and then some of the some of the emergency fund and some of the future incomes that are coming in is going to be placed aside to cover the difference.
Okay, now they're going to rent Brown Mackey building to move the courthouse people over there, right?
Well, there's nothing signed. There's nothing signed now. We are definitely looking at doing that. There is some savings with the opportunity to move into a building, everybody out of the other buildings, so that no one has to deal with construction, and we can then safely have everybody working in one location, not having people to run in and out or find temporary homes for people. So there is definitely a lot of work that needs to be done in that building, probably over $1 million worth of work, and so therefore we're trying not to go too wild with it. But the answer is we're headed in that direction, but it's not done yet.
Okay, where's that $1 million going to come from?
We just got $1.2 million extra from the bond. That's one of the places, and that's only one of the sources.
Okay, then you're going to have to rent that building too. I understand. At around $24,000 a month.
The amount's not
minimum.
The amount's not determined, and the amount that I was told is less than that.
Well, one of your fellow councilmen on a Saturday radio station last week said that amount of money, and he did not know where that $1 million was going to come from.
Well,
and he didn't know whether that $1 million would even cover it. So, your riverboat fund is already going low, and you're not going to replenish that very much, probably in the next 12 months.
All right. Well, thanks.
Where is this going to come from? Is it going to come from my taxes again, or?
I think that's the question for sure. Okay. So where is the money going to come from, Councilperson?
Well, a week ago, somebody did not know that we were going to get paid an extra $1.2 million. And there's also a bit of difference on understanding and homework. And so the best I can tell you is that we did not have enough information to share, but we do have the money available.
Well, we'll have you back down the road a little bit, and we can answer those questions a little bit even more in specifics. But thanks so much for listening today. I'm sorry we couldn't get to the rest of the callers. Lots of great conversations here. Join us again next Monday on Sound Off here on 96.7 The Eagle or hometownnewsnow.com. We'd love to have you subscribe to our podcast or like us on Facebook. If nothing else, I hope you have a great day, a great weekend. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of Sound Off. The views on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. Sound Off airs every Monday and Friday at 12:30. Please mark your calendar and join us again for the next edition of Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for listening to the Sound Off podcast at 96.7theeagle.com.